Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Wes Anderson's The Royal Tenenbaums from 2001. So yes, we are back finally, ready to discuss this film and yes, resume this director series. Absolutely, we will be kind of consistently going back to reviewing Wes Anderson films on the channel. And I did say, of course, that I'd be for sure talking about the films that I'd never kind of reviewed before on the channel, and certainly as well re-reviewing some of them as well, including of course the Grand Budapest Hotel, and then of course the French Dispatch, and eventually the ranking will come as well, and just a few things got in the way, I guess, of the channel and elsewhere as well, so I didn't get around to reviewing this film when I wanted to, but it was back in May actually, end of May, that I watched this film for the second time, and just was about to review it, shortly after, and it didn't happen. But here we are, finally here to discuss this film, and yes, as I always say, of course, a spoiler warning for this film. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first, and then coming back to this discussion. I know I said every time the exact same thing, but yeah, let's just, of course, make sure that no one gets this ruined for them, and if you haven't seen this film, just watch it first to avoid spoilers from this video here. And yes, with all that said, as always, let's dig into this film, and yes, the third feature film from, of course, Wes Anderson, and once again written by Wes Anderson, and of course Owen Wilson as well, co-writing this film as they have done before, different occasions, and yes, Owen Wilson as well, stars in this film, and it's Eli Cash, and more of a supporting role though, and it's kind of the main character in this film really is played by Gene Hackman, as Royal himself. So yes, what a film this is though. An ensemble piece, and of course, the Wilson brothers, are back in town, and because Luke Wilson, as well as in this film, a pretty big part in this, and as Richie, of course, and we'll get to all these different characters. But yes, we'll go back to the very first time I watched this film, and this was the second film that I watched by Wes Anderson. Of course, it's a very interesting, I must say, experience with seeing. I saw the Grand Budapest Hotel first, and I'd always wanted to see, his films, especially this film, The Royal Tenenbaums. I'd heard about this film for many, many years since I was a kid, and it's one of the films that is quite famous outside of Wes Anderson fans, for example, talking about his films. You hear about this, kind of quite a bit, I guess, and certainly, when I was a kid, I heard about this. It just kind of stuck with me, that kind of name, The Royal Tenenbaums, and I wondered what it was, and I knew the cast, of this film, quite a few of the players, of course, Owen Wilson, Ben Stiller as well, etc., Bill Murray, and Gene Hackman, but I didn't really know what this film would be like, and I was very, very hyped for this, and I saw, as I say, the Grand Budapest Hotel first, and I think that's the one, actually, interestingly, that's kind of really grown on me though, since watching that film many times, since I think it's been about 4 times now that I've seen that film, and just every single time, I've kind of took to it more and more. I adore that film, and I cannot wait to kind of discuss that film again when we reach it. But yes, that was my first one, and I guess though, this film here, The Royal Tenenbaums, being my second film, going into this director, this was the one that instantly, just in every single regard, I absolutely adored from start to finish, and it did not take any kind of rewatching to kind of I guess confirm that it is one of my favourite films. We'll say it now. This film, truly is, so special to me, and I think, just instantly, kind of became one of my favourites, as I say, and it blew me away in every single regard. And this rewatch, of course, my only rewatch so far, being my second watch. I think even more so, I love this film, and it just climbed even higher on my list. It's very, very high on my kind of favourite films list, and I think it's just an absolute, masterpiece, and really is one of the best films, among them ever made for me. And I think, this is the one, Rushmore. I did say back in my review of that, that's the one that really, it was the perfect form, of Wes Anderson, his style, his tone, and just the way he tells a story, and how unique it is, of course, and how quirky the characters are, but so kind of natural at the same time, and has this kind of perfect meshing, combination of his elements, and I think even more so though, The Royal Tenenbaums, kind of showcases, Wes Anderson, and how he kind of has all these different elements, these kind of variables, and I think brings it all together in this unique, and just I don't want to say polished. I don't really like that word, but it's that kind of it's similar to that. I can't quite describe. It's natural, but it's so kind of precise and really directed, I guess, really to perfection, and I think it's this wonderful, unique, kind of quirky feel, but it's a natural, kind of relatable experience, and it's this kind of the way in which the narrative unfolds. Again, it's like a novel the way it's told, but it is. It's got these standout, cinematic moments as well, and I think the style, it never becomes too much, where it kind of takes away from the storytelling in terms of relating to the characters, kind of staying immersed in a sense in the story, and what's going on with the characters' relationships, and just the overall kind of progression of the narrative, and how things kind of set up in the first act, and they kind of culminate with that final act, which is truly stunning. So this is the one that really, is the kind of Wes Anderson that really, I think, combined all these elements, in his style and tone, and it was, the kind of this and Rushmore, I guess, both of them, you could say, are these two ones, and later on, perhaps, for example, to kind of touch on that, some of his films, are more Wes Anderson-y in some regards, in terms of how precise they are, kind of the composition, I guess, that's what I'm trying to say, and his overall. The way he moves the camera, and you're very much aware of this, and it's a Wes Anderson film, I guess, and very interesting to see, how he's progressed. None are better or worse, for that, but just very interesting. Of course, they're more acute, in the visual elements, and I guess these films here, they're kind of it's all there in these films, but it's more kind of you could say hidden, more subtle, and not as much. It's not as precise as, for example, the Grand Budapest in many regards, but it's all kind of here in that sense. Wes Anderson is in these films, and he's showing who he is, as a director, filmmaker, as an artist, and it's all here if you look, but it's not quite as, for example, as kind of precise, and kind of at the centre of the stage, as for example, Grand Budapest, and the camera movements, all this stuff, composition, and just framing, of course, all these elements, I guess, and despite that, this film truly is masterfully directed, and I think this is when he kind of this and Rushmore, wow, that 1-2 punch of these films. I love Rushmore. I think it's a very underappreciated film, and this film here, once again, is one of the best that I've seen, and I think just starting off with this wonderful kind of open sequence, we have the family, the Tenenbaums, of course, being the main family in this film, and we see the kind of the three main siblings. The start, of course, Margot is someone who we learn is adopted, but we have Richie and Chaz being the other two brothers, of course, and yes, we see they're basically these really successful kind of kids, and I guess the film tries to kind of showcase that, and how later on their adult lives do not live up to their kind of childhood experiences, and their success, and all this stuff, and it's kind of, the film is about that, how the past past success, and glory, and all this can kind of taint perhaps one's life, and how you can't kind of live up to this, and your response to that, I guess, and it's a very moving film in the way it does that, and it really does deal with the past. It's a very nostalgic film, truly nostalgic film, through the characters, the music, of course, wow, and just the visuals to this film. A lot of yellows in a very specific way, and it's a very kind of warm but melancholy kind of look to the film. Loads of yellows, as I say, and it's just this overall nostalgic kind of feeling that I get from this, and just the visuals, the music, as I say, the characters, just the interactions in this, and I think the way in which Royal himself, Gene Hackman, a contender for his absolute greatest performance. The Conversation is up there as well, but these two films, wow, Gene Hackman in this film, it's just perfect, and he brings this grounded, kind of dry sense of humour to the film as well, and just this real sadness to the character. It's Royal, though, who's kind of really brings this family together, you could say, and he is the central character, who kind of manipulates the whole film, you could say, the narrative, but yes, this opening sequence, as I was saying, wow, it truly is a perfect, kind of melancholy, nostalgic way to set the film up, and it's this really epic, kind of montage, and of course the wonderful, I must say, cover, of Hey Jude, playing in the background, and of course that moment when it really kicks in, it's just wow. This is just a perfect way to kind of set the film up. The narration, of course, is by Alec Baldwin, and I think it's a really perfect, once again, very particular narration here in this film, and it's just the way it kind of it kind of flows. This film, the narration, and just I think the structure of this film, it's just perfect, and seeing the this kind of opening sequence, and Hey Jude, all this. One of my favourite songs, for the record. That will be a discussion for another video where I do, some sort of kind of favourite songs list and all this, favourite bands, and just this cover though is wonderful, and I love how it's used. When I first saw this, I was thinking, okay, this is for me. This film, wow, it's doing everything right, and by the end of it, I was kind of brought to tears by this, and it truly is a very emotional film, and I think it just from the get go, it's just kind of really playing on nostalgia, and how past glories, greatness, success, achievements, can affect one's life, perception, of their adult life as well, and just how, of course, Royal, we'll get to that now. After this opening sequence, we have, of course, the present day, for this film, in that sense. Just basically, we have Royal, as I say, played by Gene Hackman. He is basically being chucked out of his, kind of home, and he doesn't really have anywhere to go. So, in that sense, he kind of creates this, this lie, that he is terminally ill, and that is what he uses to kind of try to, be brought back to the family, and for them all to kind of reunite, and for him to rekindle, I guess, his relationships, of course his children, and of course, as well, Etheline, and played by Anjelica Huston, and he's of course separated, as they did when the kind of the family were younger, and they were kids and all this, and we have that scene, of course, and it's just 20 years ahead, and this is the outcome of that, and all this all these characters kind of being separated, and we have these characters kind of trying to form these relationships once again, and with that comes past kind of friction and all this, and Etheline and Royal, of course, throughout the film, it's a very interesting, kind of warm, relationship they have, and of course we have as well, Henry being played by Danny Glover, being this kind of love interest of Etheline, and she basically she's with him, and of course that adds kind of element of drama to this whole kind of triangle, you could say, with Royal and as well, and kind of the way in which that is kind of for him, an obstacle, someone being with Etheline, and it's a hilarious film. This I'm describing this as it's kind of a really kind of dark and sad film, but it really is just a film that balances perfectly. I must say, saying all this, kind of the way I'm explaining it, it balances all this drama and these kind of these elements of kind of friction, conflict with comedy, and I think for the record, one of if not the funniest Wes Anderson film. I think actually it is the funniest Wes Anderson, and I just think the way in which it kind of balances drama with comedy, and all these different themes and genres, and a very very particular style that's kind of familiar yet so unique, and kind of different to anything I've seen. This is just genius, this film, and I think the way in which we have all these different characters being set up and perfectly kind of developed throughout the film. We have not just kind of great writing, masterful writing for the characters, and of course the world building itself, but we have just the way in which the characters, and their clothing says something about them, and I think for comedy as well. For example, Ben Stiller's character, and this is perhaps my favourite kind of Ben Stiller role. He is that good in this film. I think, but just the way in which Chaz is wearing this tracksuit throughout the entire film, and his kids as well. They have matching tracksuits, and that is just, when I first saw this, and just to see that visually, it doesn't need to be explained. It's just hilarious, and of course, though it does stem all these different moments of comedy come from, you know, or kind of juxtaposed with, you know, quite, you know, dark, you know, quite sad, you know, shocking, you know, kind of events. You know, for example, Chaz, you know, lost his wife. You know, she died, of course, in a crash, and you know, that is why he's more protective of, you know, his kids. And we see different moments, though, you know, of comedy with this, and how he's trying to, you know, kind of, you know, get them ready for any kind of event, you know, any time. And you know, it kind of does stem, though, from quite, you know, a traumatic event, you know. And I think the way that it's done, you know, it's just so human and relatable. And you know, I think the comedy just enhances, you know, how we have all these different kind of dark moments in the film. And you know, it's just a perfect kind of, you know, flow to the film as well. And I just think how you know, the first act is just so investing, and we get to see all these different characters and how they kind of they've developed. And then we have, you know, more bonding in the middle, and you know, different, you know, moments of conflict. And the final act is just kind of so thrilling, you know, intense, and then, you know, funny, and then sad again. And you know, it's just this nevertheless this epic and in so many regards satisfying, you know, kind of conclusion to this narrative. And you know, it's just, for example, you know, Royal, you know, dying at the end there. Wow, you know, when I saw this first time round, you know, I was laughing, and then instantly, you know, hearing that the narration there, hearing that he, you know, he passed away shortly after this, you know, that moment there when he's at his happiest, really, with his grandchildren. You know, that is just, it's kind of this what Wes Anderson does in this film. You know, it's just kind of he does this, you know, he juxtaposes, you know, comedy, you know, and warmth with real shocking, you know, kind of moments and dark moments. And you know, it's a real kind of wonderful film. This it's so emotional, but you know, it's a, you know, outright kind of hilarious film as well. And you know, I think just the way in which, you know, kind of Royal, yeah, it's a very the way in which he kind of course, you know, fakes, you know, their illness there, and then of course he does actually die in the end. You know, shortly after actually, you know, kind of reuniting with his family. This is so kind of tragic, and you know, it's a really, yeah, it's a way in which, you know, I guess the irony plays out. You know, it really is such a kind of complex film. And of course, I love the characters. As I say, we have Margot, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, and she is just perfect in this film. And we have Richie, being played by Luke Wilson, of course, Ben Stiller we've mentioned. And yeah, just I think these kind of three, you know, siblings, of course, Margot being adopted, and you know, all this, but you know, seeing these three siblings together, and how they're trying to as well interact, you know, after kind of being separated for this this time. You know, it's so fascinating, and you know, it's a wonderful kind of character study that is just so kind of human, you know, relatable. And I think this kind of has this, though, fantastical kind of quirky, dreamlike feeling. And I think it's this wonderful balance once again in that aspect. But you know, we have all these different moments, these interactions, of course, this relationship between you know, Richie and Margot. You know, it's a very complex relationship, and you know, it's obviously a big focus, though. You know, for example, in the middle of the film, and then that, you know, kind of takes the stage, and you know, we have all this, and at the same time we have Royal taking out, you know, his grandchildren, because you know, he learns that, you know, they're kind of, you know, for example, Chaz is overprotective, you know, of his kids, and then, you know, Royal just takes them out, you know, kind of goes on these adventures, and and you know, that kind of montage there, you know, those scenes, you know, just hilarious. And then of course the reaction, though, from Chaz, you know, he kind of goes quite insane, you know, they just took him out and done all this stuff, quite dangerous activities, and you know, it's just hilarious. But then of course, you know, it's quite touching as well how Chaz reacts, and you know, it's all this kind of stuff going on, and it's perfectly balanced, perfectly kind of handled. And I think the direction here, you know, it's mind blowing. It really is. And to see how Wes, you know, kind of tells this story, you know, and how it unfolds, and you know, I guess all these different kind of characters, and how they have so much kind of weight to them. You know, they're so layered, these characters, and you know, it's this, you know, comedy film, but they are kind of wonderfully developed. And I think just seeing, you know, how the underlying sadness of Richie really comes into effect as well later on in the film. We have, of course, Margot and Richie, you know, kind of arguing and all this, and you know, he kind of sends this, you know, different people to kind of follow her, and you know, kind of investigate her, and of course he learns different things, and then that leads to him, you know, kind of trying to take his own life, and that is such a kind of moving scene, and really really shocking when I first saw this, and just the way in which Luke Wilson plays this character perfectly. He really does. He brings out that kind of and perfectly captures that sadness, and that kind of regret, I guess, and on the character, Richie, and just the way in which this. Once again, this leads to different things happening after that event, and shortly after that, we have the kind of the final act really kind of coming into play, and of course we have the kind of the wedding and all this, and Royal trying to stop this, and all the different characters are kind of at play here. Owen Wilson as well, as Eli, and he is hilarious for the record in this film, and I just love how all these different characters, interact in this film, and we have these very small kind of personal moments with, just two characters at a time, but as an ensemble as well, which is what this film is. It's kind of it's a personal ensemble. That's what it is. But seeing all these characters, they all kind of have their their great moments, and the acting in this film, truly is masterful, and I think everyone in this film plays their part perfectly. Danny Glover, you've got Gene Hackman, kind of bickering, of course, and trying to get one up on each other, and just the perfect kind of dynamics, relationships, triangles, but also just this massive family as a whole, and I think the way in which this is planned out, by Wes Anderson, of course, and Owen Wilson, and the way it kind of is executed, is perfect, and I think just that final kind of bittersweet, moment. The final act, of course, he's reunited, with his family at Royal, and he's out, with his grandchildren, and really having a great time, just in that moment in his life, and very shortly after that, he dies, and just a really kind of tragic and human final act, and of course, then we have the funeral, and that is the final scene, and we have everyone playing, of course. Van Morrison, just a wonderful way in which this film ends, with that song playing, and of course the slow motion there, and that's another thing. The way in which we have these key moments in the film, and the use of slow motion and just music. I think music in this film, is a pivotal element. I think the soundtrack, is truly wonderful. We have the Rolling Stones, and just that moment, Nico, these days, when of course Margot is coming out of the bus there. That is just one of the best moments in a Wes Anderson film. It says so many different things without any dialogue, and just the song itself, and the way it's used in that scene, and just the acting there, and just the mystery to it, and the sense of wonder. But you feel these pure emotions. You can kind of see what is being said without any dialogue. As I say, it's a genius kind of visual moment, and I think moments like this, the slow motion, slow-mo in this film, just it is wonderful, and really it gives me these goosebumps, of course, in different moments, and just the way in which Wes Anderson is kind of telling the story visually. It's just I absolutely love this film. I love the visuals, the framing. It's never kind of too much. It's just perfect. It's natural. As I've said, it's natural and very precise. Very much. Wes Anderson knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to say, and he's doing it in a very organic way as well. All these different movements, and the editing. It's very much a lot going on in this. Just like in Rushmore, especially at first, we get these different cuts, and you're going through many different characters and you kind of moments. But it's never. I know exactly what's going on. I can get all the emotions from it, and it's so clear, and kind of. He is just putting all of his kind of soul into this film. I feel, and just it's full of heart. Full of charm, and I think the characters truly, some of my favourites. In cinema, in terms of an ensemble piece, I think this is one of the best, and just every single character. I kind of I'm compelled by, and I just love. I love to hate the characters. I love the characters. It's all this. It's just every single moment, in this film, it's just perfectly realised, and it's one of the, you get decent length out of this film. I guess it's not, a 90-minute film. It's a bit longer than that. So luckily, you can get, kind of a lot out of this film because there's a lot of characters, of course, a lot of things going on, and it's a big scope. This, but everything is kind of. I guess everything that's said that you could imagine he wanted to say in this film in the context of this narrative, and we get so much kind of time with every character, and as a whole as well. As I say, just the dynamics, of this dysfunctional family. As I've said, it's so fascinating. It's relatable. You can kind of understand this, kind of related to your own life, and as well, it's this really, just a film full of wonder, and very unique and kind of very different film. This, I wouldn't say abstract. It's not quite there, but it's this kind of fantastical film. It has this kind of dreamy effect, on the viewer, and I think this real gut punch at the end, and it really is one of the most emotional Wes Anderson films, and I truly love this film. I think the editing, as I've said, the cinematography, of course, and just the actual soundtrack itself, is a character, and it's one of those films, and just all these songs, I truly love. Some of my favourites, are in this, and we have different covers, just pieces of classical music as well, and it gives this kind of, as I said, this fantastical feeling comes from the soundtrack as well. As the visuals, of course, and just this world that's very strange, yet relatable. That's what I love about Wes Anderson. He's a very different director, very unique, and at times abstract. It's this dreamlike kind of effect his films have, but they're kind of raw as well, raw emotions, and kind of relatable and human, and grounded, and it's this combination that he does in pretty much all of his films that I've seen, and that's what makes him one of my favourites. He always kind of offers us just rich, truly kind of likable, or just fully compelling characters, in his films, and they're so complex and layered, and they do different things that we're not. I'm not always on board with, but I'm always kind of so invested in his characters, his worlds, and I just love this film. I think this is just, I'll say at least one of the ultimate, Wes Anderson films experiences, and it truly is one of my favourite films of all time. I just love the way in which this theme of family, and just I think generations, is portrayed in this film, explored, and it truly moves me. I guess, and of course, I've mentioned how kind of the past. Past achievements, greatness, success in some way can, kind of, how you're trying to live up to, I guess, and that's what I'm trying to say, how you're trying to live up to, your past greatness, and how, this can, affect one's perception, and, I think just the way in which this film does that, so moving, and as well, for comedy, and how, of course, Roy is trying to, kind of desperately bring back this family. He goes to such lengths to kind of reunite this family, and in the end, ironically, he does, but of course, he does pass shortly after that, and it's this bittersweet, film, and it's a sad film, at times, and truly though uplifting to me, and it really is one of the most uplifting, just I think warm films that I've seen. It just truly is, and of course there's so many different themes though. Kind of redemption as well. That could definitely fall into this. It's clear that Royal, is trying to in some way, make up, not just kind of. I don't think it's kind of in that sense him being selfish purely. He is of course in some ways being selfish to tell the family that he's dying and all this, and it's not being true. That is of course just a horrible thing to do. But I think as well just the way in which he is trying to in some way make up for his past, what he sees as failings, and trying to redeem himself, and it's just a very very moving film. It deals with time itself, of course, and different moments in time, and the way in which Wes Anderson's capturing this, I guess long term, but also just these snapshots, the kind of, for example, moments of slow motion, and all these different key visual moments, just very specific moments in time that just always there, and it's a wonderful thing what he's doing in this film. I think more than any film that he's made, he is just dealing with time itself, and how one views time, and that can kind of encompass all these different themes I've mentioned. Time itself, and it really is such a moving film. Very spiritual experience. This, and it's just so kind of uplifting to see this, and I think love is a big theme of this film as well, and seeing of course how Royal clearly wants to kind of get back with Etheline, and just I think it's just wonderfully done, this film, the way in which it's kind of it's played for laughs, but also at the same time, especially later on, it really is a very emotional film, and these relationships, the way in which they culminate, it truly is just perfect, and that final shot there, that final scene, it's just wow, truly one of the best, I think endings to a Wes Anderson film, and it's just one of my favorite kind of it's one of my favorite ensemble films in the history of cinema. I've said many things so far about this film, and I think I could talk about this film for more, for a longer period, but actually it's nice. I think we'll wrap up very soon, because it's nice with Wes Anderson films. It's very interesting as well. Perhaps there's so much going on in these films. There's so much to talk about. But I guess it's nice to kind of leave one's personal experience with a film to themselves, and what a viewer will take from a particular Wes Anderson film, and not just Wes Anderson, but many films. And I think especially though Wes Anderson, there's so much to talk about. There's so much going on. They're so complex, yet so kind of simple and pure in the way they're told, but I guess it's nice to kind of leave some things unsaid, and we can kind of further our discussion though in the comments, of course, and just talk about these films, and I will talk about this film in the future, of course, more than once, of course, not just the ranking, but I would like to talk about this film again, perhaps different elements of this film, but for now, as a kind of review or general discussion of this film, how I love this film so much. I think I've said pretty much all I need to say. There's so much going on in this, as I've mentioned, all these themes, of course, and I think consequence is a real theme as well. That kind of brings into kind of living up to the past, I guess, and this redemption act. It's all linked. There's so much to talk about. So much I've said, of course, so far that I love about this film. But I think we'll wrap up, and to kind of conclude, I guess, I truly count this as one of my favourites. It's this warm, nostalgic, melancholy film, and it's just full of heart, full of charm and humanity, and all these different quirks, these wonderful kind of fantastical, and playful elements. Just the way in which this story is being told. Anderson just taps into, I think, the fun and the engaging aspect of being, shown a film, being told a story. He just engages with the viewer, the audience, in a very, very special way, and I think it's told like a book, as well as, of course, being a fully cinematic film. It really is a stroke of genius, this film, and I just think these characters, we're saying about family and legacy, time itself, and I think. Just really capturing the time period, of course, of the past, and just this family's lives, and how it really plays into nostalgia, and I love the color tones in this film, and the music, of course, the soundtrack, itself, and how these songs have a real kind of Anderson's capturing how they have a particular kind of feeling for these moments, time, and these characters, and how they feel about each other, and it really is such a perfect film. This really, what can I say? There's nothing I don't love about this film. Truly one of my favourites, and one of the at least ultimate Wes Anderson films, and see where it is on my ranking when I put that up. That'll be a little bit, not too long away, I hope, going through these films again, and eventually seeing The French Dispatch, which of course is already out, and I can't wait for that film. But of course, The Royal Tenenbaums, as I say, this is the second Wes Anderson film that I saw, and the one that instantly, the first one to instantly kind of blow me away in every single regard, and I think it truly is a special film. Just the wardrobe, of course, the characters' outfits, it's stylish, it's kind of, it's this fully compelling film visually, all these different moments, all these elements, of course, but, even, for example, as I've said, the clothing being a kind of a plot point, and, just saying something about the characters visually, for comedy as well as other things as well, and I think Ben Stiller in this film, is one of the highlights in terms of comedy, of course, and Bill Murray, as always, hilarious, and just so enjoyable, in every film he's in, and of course, Gene Hackman, though, he is perhaps at his best in this film, and it's like a role that he was kind of born to play. I don't really like to say that, but you know what I mean. One of those roles that you just think no one else could have played. Royal himself, and in that sense, perfect casting across the board. Of course, Gwyneth Paltrow, of course, and Luke Wilson, Ben Stiller, as I've said, Anjelica Huston, Danny Glover, of course, Bill Murray. We've mentioned, Owen Wilson as well. So enjoyable, all these characters, and I love this world that's created, and I want this film to go on forever, and to see these family, this family, of course, and their lives, and their kind of what is going on, the shenanigans, of course. But it leaves it on a wonderful note. Perfect way to wrap this film up, and. As I say, a very bittersweet ending, of course. Very tragic film. It stays with you, of course, and it stayed with me, for 3 years, of course, until I rewatched it, and it just all came back to me in an even more, potent, more emotional, form. And what can I say? The Royal Tenenbaums is one of my favourites. My final rating for this film is 100% plus. Tier 2, so yes, indeed, very, very high, and fairly high on that Tier 2 bracket, actually, but one of my favourites, easily top 200, and, that is saying something, and, of course, Rushmore, as well as one that I truly loved, Bottle Rocket, so far in this current director series, I love these first 3 films, and next up, we'll show it now, of course, the Life Aquatic, so yes, watching this today, and that's why I chose to finally, review this film now, because I reviewed this in a day, and then seeing tonight for the first time one of the only ones I've not seen yet, the Life Aquatic, of course, and cannot wait for this, and of course Bill Murray, I hear being the star of this film. Cannot wait for that, and that will be the 4th Wes Anderson film, and I'll be reviewing that next. As I say, going through these films in order, of course, of release, and some of them as well that I've mentioned already on the channel, I will be reviewing again, so look out for that. But certainly the films that I haven't talked about before will be reviewed fully, and then of course, eventually I look forward to sharing my personal ranking with you, and to hear your rankings as well. So yes, The Royal Tenenbaums, truly one of my favourites, an absolute masterpiece, of cinema, and truly nostalgic film that means so much to me, and so inspiring, of course, in a sense of writing and just filmmaking, and how to kind of tell a relatable story, in your own particular way. That's what it is. Yes, truly, a wonderful film, a very, very emotional film for me, and very, very much, it brings back so many nostalgic feelings, and it just evokes that sense of, melancholy as well, so perfectly. So yes, as I say, one of my favourites, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts on this film, and what do you think of this? How would you compare it to different Wes Anderson films? We can discuss Wes Anderson, his filmography, of course, and as always, cinema itself. I look forward to all this, and to hear your thoughts on this film, and feel free, of course, to leave them in the comments. So all that said, it's been great to do, and I look forward to the next film to discuss in this truly legendary filmmaker's body of work. So yes, as I say, I look forward to The Life Aquatic, and can't wait for that. Watching it very, very soon, and let's continue with this director series on the channel, and let's discuss, continue to discuss these films. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.